baby.
And my siblings just got here, and I had to go get my phone.
You got a punch?
I do.
She's been in there for like 30 minutes already.
You got one.
You got one? Go ahead.
I know, baby.
Go other side, other side, other side. Is that fire? 375. If you can just advise fire EMS. The child's been in the car for about 30 minutes. Vehicle's not running in the heat.
Come here, baby.
Are you serious? 30 minutes, ma'am?
Yeah. Hey, come here.
Why would you wait 30 minutes to call
You're
us?
okay.
I was trying to get her.
I know. Come here, baby.
I didn't have my phone on me.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead and go with it. Ma'am, you can hang tight for a second. Talk to this officer right here. He's going to get some information from you. Go. You need to go get her 43? Yeah. The degree of annoyed, she waited 30 minutes
To even call.
to call. Like what?
Trying to get her done like
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes in the car.
No AC.
No AC, no nothing.
Why?
She said she was trying to get her to unlock the door, and she left her phone in the theater, and she didn't want to run back in to get it.
Are you serious?
So serious right now. Is she hot to the touch?
She's trying to get the child unlocked.
So EMS is saying. So she's good.
We have to advise that we punch the window.
No,
Don't worry about it.
but you need to run.
Document it in a
Yeah, we'll go document in the report. Yeah.
And just get it. We got her statement already.
That afternoon, Tipora Marie X. Jackson drove her 2-year-old daughter, brother, and sister to the Regal Cinema in Lake City to see a movie. According to later testimony, Jackson's intention was simply to enjoy a summer movie night with his family.
Can I go around this way to see her?
I don't know if it's open. You want to stay in the stairway? It's not open. They're trying to keep this. There's AC in there. They're trying to keep the air inside
Okay.
because she's hot.
I just wanted to make sure, because I know I didn't call instantly because I was trying to get her to open the door. I didn't have my phone on me. My phone was stuck inside the theater. And
What do you mean stuck? Like
it was inside. I didn't have, nobody was out here to help me call or anybody. And she was fine. She was okay in the
so the
beginning.
theater's open. Why would you not walk up to the window right there and tell them to call 911 for you?
Because I was trying to get her to open the door. Because in the beginning, she was fine. She was laughing. She was playing. I was like,
Of course, but after 30 minutes and over 100 degrees, how do you think that's going to affect her? Do you understand what I'm saying?
yes,
You understand what I'm getting at?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're getting at. But I'm trying to tell you, it's, never mind.
Can I get her name?
Her name.
And her date of birth? What's your first name?
My first name is Tipora, Tipora.
Last name?
Merrick Jackson.
She's up here at the theater for whatever reason, I'm assuming to watch a movie. She puts herself in the car. So instead of, and her phone is already inside the theater somehow, but the baby never made it into the theater. So baby locks herself inside the car. So instead of calling 911 immediately or going to summon help from the window, she tries to get the baby to unlock the door. So baby's not unlocking the door, so she doesn't want to leave the baby to go inside to get her phone to call 911, doesn't want to walk up to the window to get the concierge up there to call 911, so instead waits 30 minutes with this child in this not running hot car.
What was she doing for 30 minutes?
Standing there at the window, trying to talk to baby and unlocking the door.
So her phone is up there.
Her phone's in the theater. She has it now, I think. Is that, I think, no, that might be her wallet. But yeah, 30 minutes. Talked to EMS. The baby was obviously in distress. The baby was screaming, crying. The baby was hot to the touch. Maybe 1, 22, 2, about to be 2. I don't know. Bro, I can't get my 4-year-old to unlock the damn door.
Already got it?
Yeah, we had to punch the window. Yeah, she's hot. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was in the back there working on her in the truck. Yeah, she was pretty hot. She was screaming. Mango.
You did? Yeah. That's what I was going to probably do.
Yeah, we got 20 minutes. That's ridiculous.
I was on the way. I was 18.
Yeah, straight up. Punch that window. Like, we're not gonna bust the window. Like, in this car, she's so nonchalant, acting like it's nothing. Like, her story is making sense to her. She didn't even realize that at the end of that temperature.
20 minutes, that's what I was going to do. Like,
Yeah.
That kid ain't screaming at me.
Yeah, 30 minutes. The baby was in the car. Hey, for the report, you want to ask dispatch to get the current temperature outside and put it in the call notes for you.
That's right now.
Yeah, just ask them on the radio.
See y'all later.
They transporting? Okay. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, absolutely.
During the entire movie, Tipora Jackson had to go in and out of the theater because her daughter was crying. Witnesses said she carried the baby out several times and then returned alone. Finally, Jackson took the baby to the car, put her in the car seat, and accidentally left the keys and the baby inside. The car did not start, the air conditioning was not on, and the windows were closed. The 2-year-old girl was left in a stuffy space in the harsh Florida heat.
Can somebody take me so when I get in my truck to go see her? Like, what can I do?
Who is this? This is your son, or who's he to you?
That's my brother.
This is your brother?
Yes.
Is there another adult here with the car?
No.
Okay.
No. Please. No, not right now. Not right now.
I'm about to go ahead and have him hook her up because she's getting more agitated and I don't want any issues. She's 100% needs to go to jail. What do you think?
Yeah, we do that.
You want to go ahead and advise her that she's going to be 10-15 and yeah.
So I go and hold on to this.
Yeah, just go ahead and put her in cuffs.
Okay. Go ahead and turn around for me. Yep, go ahead and turn around for me. Go ahead. Hands behind your back. Thank you. Check your child endangerment.
Yeah.
You're going to be going to jail today for child endangerment.
Okay, that's fine.
Has anybody told? She was inside with the baby and brought the baby out to the car.
Halfway through the movie or something? Like, what was the...
That's what but when they started telling me, I was like, hold on, because this is some pertinent information.
You're going to need Tugman. Hold on.
Well, he's getting the number for the child's father.
Okay. We need parents for them other two as well. Because they only 12 and 13 or 12 and 14. So what? So she brought the baby in, or?
I did not witness any of it, but I
Okay.
asked them if they saw anything, and so they did say that they saw some stuff. So
I'm assuming they were watching a movie. They came out to the lobby kind of deal. The kid was kind of like walking around the lobby and stuff, so I noticed that she brought a kid outside. She came back in. She came outside again, but I wasn't aware if she like came back in or not again.
So when she came out, she had the baby with her? And did she come back in with the baby, or was the baby...
First time, no. She came back in again, not with the baby as well.
Okay, did she ever say anything to y'all? Never mentioned, like...
She didn't notice us at all, like kind of. She didn't.
Okay. Did she look like she was in a panic or anything like that?
No.
Or didn't look like she was in any type of distress? Were the other children, the other kids, those two older ones, were they with y'all when that happened?
No.
Or with her when that happened? I'm sorry. They were not? Were they still in the movie, or?
I
Just don't recall seeing
I saw
them?
the boy in the green shorts walk out like twice, but didn't see a child.
And none of them said...
None of them said anything to us. They kind of just were walking in and out a couple times. like I saw them standing next to the car, and I'm thinking it looked from where I was, it looked like the window was down. They were chit chatting with whoever was in the vehicle. So like I'm thinking nothing of it because that happens all the time. So
What was the time frame there?
that would have been about 30 minutes ago that I saw the boy walking in and out.
When was the last time you seen the child? Or she walked out with the child?
I'm going to guess 20, 30 minutes. I don't know.
So probably what she said, about 30-minute time lapse. The baby was already hot to the touch. So she had been in there for.
a baby inside the movie theater, and she sent the brother out here back and forth to go check on him. Oh,
That's what I'm sorry. Hey. So, sorry, let me walk away real quick. So, basically, this lady, she's in there watching, what I'm gathering, she's in there watching the movie, and I'm thinking that maybe the baby was showing out during the movie. So, and it's a little baby. She's about to turn 1. So she brings the baby out here to the car, and puts the baby in the car. Unintentionally locks the baby in the car, but a 30-minute time lapse goes by where she is trying to coach the 1-year-old to unlock the door, which is not going to happen because she's 1. And from what the theater is saying, she had come back into the theater twice after the baby was already locked in the car. Did not appear to be under any type of distress, and never once asked him to summon for help for the baby that was in the car. And the baby was obviously in distress. Yeah, she was sweaty. She was beet red. She was. Oh no, she's going to jail. Right, at like 100% going to jail.
Okay. Did she come in and say anything to you, or? Okay. Nothing at all.
No, she
Okay.
and then walked back into the theater, or down the hallway at least, and then she walked back out.
Yeah, she's crying in the theater, so she brought the kid outside to go to the truck, and then from what she states is that she was outside and the door closed.
This was out.
Yeah.
I don't know, because she walked out with the baby and then she walked back in and I didn't see or
Okay.
hear the baby.
Excuse me. Did she go back into the theater?
I don't know where she went after that. I mean, I know she went down the hallway.
Okay, so she completely passed all the way down the hall?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she seem like she was in a hurry, or no?
Not really. Just kind of walked back there. She looked kind of like her face looked like she was kind of just done.
Yeah.
And exhausted. So I don't know.
Okay. And she never said anything to you, or did she ever at any point come up and try to get you guys to call us, or no? Okay.
So after you seen her walk back in, did you see her again after that, or the kids that were with her?
I didn't know that they were with her, but I did see a couple that looked like they're teenagers, maybe, like kind of run after. I don't know if they were with her or not.
Yeah. About how long between when she went back there and when they all came running out?
Maybe like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm bad at the time. But yeah, and then they kind of were in and out here a few times.
Okay. I knew there was a new Fantastic Four movie, but okay. Anyway. Okay. So, all right. So, we're this. Based off of this, if you could just kind of give me another explanation of what you seen, what you saw.
Yeah, that's just basically about it. She walked in out here she was startled there,
Okay.
walked out here, baby was like messing around with the toys and stuff.
Okay.
I noticed she went back, she went outside with the baby. She came back in and out, like, I think once or twice.
Okay.
No baby with her the first time. So
Okay.
I didn't know where the baby was. I didn't know if she went to go watch her movie again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of all I picked up. She seemed incredibly neutral, so I didn't really think anything was up or anything.
Okay. And if you had to estimate about the same, like the time frame.
Again, about 30, 40 minutes ago kind of deal.
Sorry. Let's step out. We'll walk over to that table.
Derek Jackson, DerrickX apostrophe Jackson. I mean, not apostrophe. Jackson.
On the afternoon of September 28, 2023, authorities in the state of Georgia received a report that immediately raised red flags. The call was not about a simple welfare concern. It was about children living in conditions so unsafe, so unsanitary, that their health, and possibly their lives, were believed to be at risk. The caller described a home where young children were sleeping without proper beds, surrounded by trash, insects, and foul odors, a place where basic hygiene was absent, a place where neglect was no longer a possibility, but a likelihood. When police officers received this report, the response was immediate. In situations involving potential child endangerment, time is not a luxury. It is a variable that determines whether intervention prevents tragedy or arrives too late. Alongside law enforcement, emergency medical services were dispatched to assess the physical condition of the children. Adult protective services were also notified because early information suggested there were vulnerable adults in the home as well. Multiple agencies moving at once is never routine. It is a sign that what waits on the other side of the front door may be severe. When officers arrived at the residence, the home appeared outwardly quiet. No shouting, no immediate sounds of distress. But silence in child welfare cases is not reassurance. It is often concealment, unintentional or otherwise, of ongoing harm. The officers announced themselves and requested entry. Inside, the first sight was an adult male with limited mobility lying on a couch. Officers quickly learned he was physically disabled and dependent on others for daily care. This immediately widened the scope of the investigation. Now, there were not only children potentially being neglected, but also a disabled adult whose well-being relied entirely on the same household. The officers explained that emergency medical personnel were outside to evaluate the children, and that adult protective services would be contacted to assess care for the disabled adult. At this stage, officers were still in information-gathering mode. No arrests had been made, no accusations formally leveled. This was the phase of observation and documentation. They requested all occupants step outside so medical staff could begin evaluations. A woman emerged, later identified as the mother. Another adult woman, her mother-in-law, also appeared. Between them were 3 children, including a young girl believed to be around 10 years old. Immediately, officers noted concerning signs. The children appeared unkempt. Their clothing was dirty. Their hair was unwashed. But physical appearance alone is never the determining factor. What matters is environment, and when officers began moving deeper into the residence, that environment came into focus. Trash covered large portions of the floors, discarded containers, soiled clothing, a persistent, overwhelming odor, flies, roaches, evidence that waste had been present for extended periods of time. Not the occasional mess of a struggling household, but sustained environmental neglect, the type that creates health hazards, respiratory risk, skin infections, and disease. Officers asked where each child slept. The boys, they were told, slept in a small office room. The 10-year-old girl, however, slept in a separate back room. When officers entered that room, the situation escalated from concerning to alarming. The space was packed with garbage bags, refuse, and debris. There was little visible floor, and inside this room, officers discovered a small tent, the kind typically used for children's play. Inside that tent, the 10-year-old girl had been sleeping, naked, surrounded by filth, in a space where feces were present, where insects were breeding, where flies and roaches moved freely, where air itself carried the unmistakable stench of human waste. One officer later described it bluntly: if intervention had been delayed, the child could have died in that room, not through direct violence, but through exposure, infection, malnutrition, and environmental collapse. At this moment, the case transitioned legally. What began as a welfare check now met the threshold for suspected felony child cruelty. Under Georgia law, cruelty to children in the first degree includes any act, or failure to act, that results in excessive physical or mental pain to a child. Subjecting a child to prolonged exposure to human waste, insect infestation, and unsanitary confinement meets that threshold. Intent is not required. Knowledge and failure to correct conditions is sufficient. As officers documented the scene, they learned more about the household structure. There were 3 adult women living in the residence: the biological mother of the children, the grandmother, and another adult woman, approximately 30 years old, with a severe neurodevelopmental disorder. She did not communicate verbally and required daily care. She too was dependent on the adults in the home. This created a layered duty of care situation. The mother and grandmother were not only responsible for 3 children, they were also responsible for an adult with special needs and a physically disabled man. When multiple dependents exist in a single home, legal responsibility multiplies, and so does legal liability. Officers began separating family members to obtain independent statements. The grandmother stated she was physically unable to move through the home easily. She claimed she had not entered the children's sleeping areas in a long time. She stated she relied on the mother to manage the children's care and the household environment. This admission is significant. Under neglect statutes, delegating care does not eliminate responsibility. If a legal guardian or caretaker knows, or should reasonably know, that dangerous conditions exist, failure to intervene constitutes neglect. The mother, meanwhile, acknowledged that the 10-year-old girl had behavioral challenges, including smearing feces and removing clothing. She described attempts to manage this behavior by isolating the child's sleeping space. But isolation without sanitation, without supervision, and without adequate care crosses the line from management to endangerment. In child welfare law, behavioral difficulty is not a defense. If a child has medical or developmental conditions that increase care demands, the legal obligation is to seek assistance, not to reduce care. As officers continued their walkthrough, they found evidence that the remainder of the house had at least some functional living space. One adult bedroom was clean and organized. Another sleeping area contained a sleeping child who appeared physically stable. This contrast became important. It demonstrated that the household was capable of maintaining clean conditions in some spaces, but chose not to apply those standards to the children's room. This distinction often becomes crucial in court because it refutes arguments that poverty alone caused the neglect. The issue was not lack of resources, it was lack of allocation of care. Medical personnel evaluated the children. They noted no immediate life-threatening injuries, but physical wellness in the moment does not erase prolonged environmental harm. The law does not require a child to be visibly injured before intervention occurs. Risk itself is enough. One of the officers, a mother herself, articulated what many investigators think but rarely say aloud. Protecting children is not optional, it is mandatory. And when a scene reaches this severity, warnings are no longer appropriate. Accountability must follow. At this point, officers contacted DFCS, the Department of Family and Children Services, to begin emergency protective custody protocols. Under Georgia procedure, when children are found in imminently dangerous environments, DFCS may assume temporary custody until safe placement is arranged. The first preference is always placement with vetted family members. Only if no safe family placement exists are children placed into state foster care. Simultaneously, officers contacted APS, Adult Protective Services, for the disabled adult and the physically impaired man. This ensured that after arrests, vulnerable adults in the home would not be abandoned without care. With documentation complete, photographs taken, medical assessments performed, and statements gathered, officers now had probable cause to proceed with arrests. 2 adult women, the mother and grandmother, were identified as able-bodied caregivers who held legal responsibility for the children's well-being. Under Georgia statute, cruelty to children in the first degree is a felony offense. Multiple counts may be filed when multiple children are affected. As officers explained the situation to the family, the gravity of what had been uncovered began to settle. The grandmother expressed devastation. She pleaded for leniency. She insisted there was no malicious intent. But in child protection law, neglect is measured not by intent, but by outcome. A child sleeping in waste and infestation is harm in itself. Officers allowed family members to begin calling relatives who could potentially receive the children. This step is critical in trauma reduction. Removing children is already destabilizing. Placing them with familiar family members reduces psychological harm and improves cooperation from social services. Meanwhile, officers also ensured that any firearms in the residence were secured, any medications were documented, and that dependent adults would not be left without assistance once arrests occurred. By the time DFCS workers arrived, a plan was forming. The children would be moved to temporary safety with vetted relatives. The disabled adult would receive APS support. The physically impaired man would remain under observation. And the 2 adult caregivers would be taken into custody to face criminal charges. Before transport, officers allowed limited, supervised goodbyes. Even in severe neglect cases, humane procedure is followed. This is not leniency, it is professionalism. It prevents escalation, reduces trauma, and preserves dignity while still enforcing law. Outside the residence, patrol lights reflected off the walls. Inside, silence replaced chaos. The children were being escorted to safety. Medical staff finalized evaluations. Social workers gathered documentation, and officers completed arrest reports. In 10 years of service, one officer remarked, this was the worst environmental neglect scene they had ever encountered. And as the adults were placed in handcuffs, the legal transition became complete. What began as a concerned community report had evolved into a full-scale child protection intervention, a felony neglect investigation, and the removal of children from an environment that could have ended in irreversible harm. But the story was not yet over, because after the arrests, the legal system, courts, social services, and protective agencies would now determine what came next. And that is where the true consequences begin. Got it. Here is your new Part 2 rewritten as the conclusion. Clean transcript only, no extra commentary, no labels, no section breaks, no part ends here. Just copy-paste ready narration, matching your established tone, pacing, and legal analysis style. By the time the last child was carried out of the house, the outcome of this case had already been decided, not by emotion, not by opinion, but by law. When police officers walked into the residence, they weren't just responding to a messy home or an overwhelmed family. They were witnessing an environment that crossed a legal threshold, from hardship into criminal neglect. It is important to understand that child cruelty cases like this are not built on one dirty room or one bad day. They are built on sustained conditions that place children at ongoing risk of harm. The law does not require a child to be injured before intervention occurs. The law requires only that a reasonable adult would understand the environment to be dangerous, and that those responsible failed to correct it. That is what separates unfortunate circumstances from criminal responsibility. In this home, investigators found a child sleeping in feces, surrounded by insects, waste, and contaminated air. They found no functional sanitation plan, no consistent hygiene management, and no safe sleeping environment. They found dependents who could not advocate for themselves. And they found adults who were aware of the conditions, yet allowed them to continue. Under Georgia law, that is first-degree cruelty to children. Once that legal threshold is met, officers no longer have discretion. They cannot leave children in place. They cannot issue a warning. They cannot give more time. Mandated reporters, DFCS, APS, and law enforcement are all bound by statute to act. The removal of the children was not optional, it was mandatory. The arrests that followed were not punishment, they were protective action. Criminal charges in neglect cases served two purposes. First, to hold caregivers legally accountable, and second, to ensure that unsafe conditions cannot quietly resume once officers leave the scene. In the days that followed, DFCS assumed custody of the children. Medical assessments were performed. Developmental screenings were scheduled. Psychological evaluations began. Every step was designed to answer one question: can these children ever safely return to this environment? APS simultaneously initiated services for the disabled adults left behind. Home health evaluations, nursing care, environmental remediation plans, all designed to ensure that vulnerable adults are not left without care as criminal proceedings unfold. And the court system began its work. Bond hearings, protective orders, case plans, compliance requirements, reunification conditions, each step structured around a single legal principle: safety first, custody second. Cases like this often provoke strong reactions from the public. Some see overwhelmed caregivers, some see institutional failure, some see poverty, but the court sees something simpler. Children cannot choose their environment, adults can. And when adults fail to protect children from sustained harm, the state steps in, not because it wants to, because it must. What ultimately prevented tragedy here was not chance. It was a single concerned report, a responding patrol unit, and a system designed to intervene before a child's suffering becomes irreversible. If no one had called the day, the conditions would have continued, and the outcome might have been far worse. In the end, 3 children were removed from an environment that posed imminent health risk. 2 caregivers were held legally accountable. Adult protective services were activated, and a silent situation, hidden behind closed doors, was brought into the light. This case serves as a reminder of something simple but essential. Children do not have to be beaten to be abused. They do not have to be screaming to be suffering. And neglect, left unchecked, can be just as deadly as violence. When something feels wrong, saying nothing allows harm to continue. But one call can change everything.